So it is October 8th, a little late this month, but we'll do a garden tour. We haven't done too much in the yard lately. The weather is finally cooling down. It's been a very, very hot, very, very dry summer. Luckily the pump has been running great, so we've been able to irrigate. But yeah, we'll take a look around and see how everything's looking, what we've got coming up. And yeah, everything back here, we started this 3.5 years ago, so making progress. House is still not painted, but the pergola, we've been giving little updates on how that vine is going. It's Dutchman's pipe, which has these pretty flowers, is finally completely covered. So we have nice shade back here. But we'll start over here where we always do. That's our next project, I think, or next large area to landscape. But gingers, these are just shell gingers, doing great like always. They're not on water, so they do suffer a little bit when it's so hot and dry, but they're doing all right. Copper leaves, we've cut them way back and they just keep coming back, and that's a good plant to make babies from. You just get hardwood cuttings and little rooting hormone and they root out, no problem. We've got a mix of cordylines, philodendrons, caladiums, bromeliads here around, and some helicanas and gingers back there too, around the dendrocalamus latiflorus. It's got, I think, 6 nice new shoots. They're just getting to the top of the old growth. Haven't started to branch out yet, and it's October. They seem like they shoot late. They'll reach their full size maybe by December, and then they won't branch out until late spring. So a little slower growing of all of them, but beautiful bamboo, nice vase shape. Bunch of burrow marks, philodendrons doing great. And we've cut a lot out of there to make babies. They just keep growing. Nice helicanas. This is Textilis contracta, just blocking the neighbors real nice. It has a bunch of new shoots too, which might be starting to branch out at the top, but it'll fill in nicely in the next couple months. Crotons, pinstripe ginger. Then on this side we've got cordylines, ginger, the Maui gold elephant ear, which did great last year, not so much this year. It's gone. We've had very bad luck with elephant ears, alocasias and telocasias last year. They did great. I'm almost thinking it's sun at this point, just because it is getting shady back here now. Hello. Dendrocalamus validus, going nuts, growing all over, still throwing new shoots. This is the most aggressive's not the word, energetic of all the bamboos we've planted, because for 3 years old to have a clump this big, but it is not tight or upright. It likes to just kind of do its thing, so that's fine. This is an emerald Textilis, I don't know, but lots of new shoots. This got pretty beat up in the tropical storm, and everything's still recovering from the hurricane last year, but doing real good. Lots of new shoots. Same with this blue chungi. Thrown lots of shoots, hasn't really gotten anything of substantial size yet. The emerald and the chungi are maybe 1.5 years at most. And back in all these monsteras and gingers, we've got our old hammy, which you can barely see, but it has new culms coming out now. They're a good size. It's maybe 25 foot or so far, maybe 30. But that one we had planted somewhere else and moved to set it way back, but now it's finally going, so that's exciting. We'll see. We haven't gotten really culms of size on that one yet, so I'm not sure how quick it is or anything like that. Then back there we've got birds of paradise, variegated spiral gingers. The gingers, those ones will go dormant over the winter, so that's coming up probably pretty soon, December maybe. Then Bambusa Nana, doing great, but it is right, can't really see it. There's a cable line up there for Comcast, and every time we have tropical storms or hurricanes or really strong winds, it blows the big culms into that line and pretty much snaps them at 16 feet where it is. So this thing has had a rough go, but it's coming into its own. It's thrown probably 6 good sized culms this year. So we're excited to see. Hopefully we don't get some wind and it gets some size on it. Back wall, 6 Textilis gracilis, couple of Zabrina blood bananas, some large clumping helicanas, and then cordylines, ferns, bromeliads, and crotons in front. This was super lush and green when it was full sun. Looked amazing. As it's getting less sun, and if you see all the Textilis gracilis, they're usually pretty upright bamboos, but the hurricane actually last year bent them all this way because the wind was blowing from the north. And we've done our best to tie them up, but until we get some new growth and cut out the bent ones, that's just how they are, which is overshadowing the helicanas, and the shell gingers. So they're not thriving as much as they did, and eventually this area won't be very sunny anyway. Still looks nice, but just what it was last year, it's not the same, but that's okay. And then in the center, kind of there, this winter we're going to try and put in like a 6 or 8 foot waterfall with little pond, so that'll be really nice, and we'll get the sound of the water and something nice to look at. But as it cools off and we get a game plan, we'll get doing that. Got some nice crotons, magnificent, and longleaf yellow dot, I don't know its name. Then that is maybe a mammy, and I don't know, but everything's doing pretty good considering. And then there's this bamboo, which was sold as a Textilis gracilis, but is smaller. I don't know if it's a contracta and got mislabeled or if it's something else, but the amount of shoots coming off of it now are huge. And see, all the straight upright ones are this year's, and all the ones blown sideways are last year's. I need to get in there and actually clean up some of the dead culms and stuff. That one's maybe 2 years old, but it's going to be a real nice thick screen. Here's the pump we installed, which is doing great. And again, all this wouldn't be possible without that. It'd be too much water and time, but if you can pump it for free or minimal electricity, it's worth it. And we went down 30 foot on that one, and as dry as it was this year, the well never dried up, so that's awesome. The shed we built a couple months ago, doing good. Then we're going to make a path back through here. I've got to get rid of the boat motor, and that'll be the rear entrance to this shade house. Banana trees on borrowed time. They look nice, but too much work. We'll just get a palm or something there. Got copper leaf, philodendron, Brian's diamond, a bunch of cordylines. The largest palm, when we moved this clump from the back wall, did not make it. The other 3 will take a while. I mean, digging them out stunted the growth, but they'll be okay, and it'll have some room, which it wouldn't have had in the back wall. So that'll look good in a year or 2. And then we rescued the foxtail palm for very cheap at Lowe's. Hasn't really started thriving yet, but that's okay, it will. Then we've got our Jose Bueno and this beautiful new philodendron, which I forget what it's called. And then we just got some pots of stuff sitting here. Traveler palm, cordyline, some monsteras. Bunch more cordylines, and I think that's aglaonemia. We want to get a bunch of Dieffenbachias back here, and we've got a couple up front that we just bought. This is Latifloris triple hybrid. This one's just maybe a year and a half. Throwing a nice new shoot there. A little slower growing, just like the Latiflorises. But all in all, it's doing well. And then back down this path, we've got more cordylines and gingers and monsteras. This is another Dendrocalamus validus. Not growing vigor, that's the word. They're very vigorous. This one is less vigorous than the other. This side of the yard does not have as good a soil, but it's improving. And it is still throwing a ton of shoots, but it's just kind of a messy bamboo. It's not quite as clean of a bamboo. Back here we have our Dendrocalamus gigantus. It's only thrown 1 nice new culm this year, and it's year and 2 months in the ground, so a little slower, but once it goes, it'll go, and it'll be the largest one we've got. So patience is a virtue. There's another Latifloris over there. We've got 3 of those. Very stunted elephant here. We've got our 2 black bamboos. Birds are saying hello. Planted the same time. This clump is much different than this clump. But he's got a new shoot coming, and over time they'll even out. And then we've got some more cordylines and bromeliads and aglaonemias and little things planted around them. Here's the other Latifloris clump. Doing good. Didn't take off with the same speed as that first one, but really coming into its own now. And probably 7-8 new culms this year. Excited to see how it looks next year once those branch out. Here we've got a bunch of elephant ears, ferns, shell ginger, and our areca palms that we were able to dig out of somebody's yard for free because they didn't want them. They've got some good size. And copperleaf or Jamaican croton, I forget which one. That's a copperleaf. There's that smaller Latifloris, crotons, cordylines, monsteras, another clump of bananas, which again for this year is fine, but next year we'll probably get a palm or something there. Buddha belly, putting out a nice big shoot here, and then a smaller one off to the side. Philodendron gigantum, and then some golden pothos and stuff climbing up there. Chinese dwarf. I did not like this bamboo, and then I like this bamboo, and now I don't know what I think. We'll just have to see what it does. Everybody trims it into a bush, and it's a smaller, thinner one, but if you don't trim it and let it go, it puts out big culms. It's maybe 25 foot high right now. Very tight clumping. If it continues to just throw out ones of size and we can trim it up so it looks clean down here, might be a really pretty bamboo. It's got kind of a brownish powder to the culms, but I like it. It's very vigorous as it's matured, so hopefully we can just get it not looking ratty and kind of see what it turns into. I'm excited about that. Then we have Gold Stripe or Golden Goddess, I forget. It's a multiplex, looking ratty as always. We've got our yin yang over here. This whole area, it looks awful. Need to do some work. But yin yang, he's thrown probably 5 or 6 shoots this year. It's only been in the ground a little over a year. So we'll see what that does. We've done some work in the shade house. We built these new shelves to get everything off the ground. We've been trying to clear through the plants we do have. Then we installed overhead watering, and it's a lot more even and gentle than we had 3 wobblers just kind of off to the side, and yeah, it worked, but this is better. The bamboos we have propagated, we've got 2 Chinese dwarf and one Chinese dwarf and 2 of the what we think are a contracta, but not sure. These were culm divisions, and they all have new shoots, so that's exciting. Then back here is all stuff we've been able to propagate off of the yard. Well, pretty much all of it except the caladiums are. And then we've got our golden Hawaiian, which it threw it threw 2 shoots this year, but one really good one. And then we've got some smaller scraggly stuff from when it was small, to trim out. But it didn't really have water until recently, so it's just kind of been grown at a different pace because the rest of the yard's getting consistent water, and it has not. So, and then coming around into the arid house, we've been doing some propagating from the yard, and whatever we can pick up at plant sales, but we've got a ton of Acacoya genus, Swiss cheese, which we need to do some work in here, beautiful Jose Bueno, and just an assortment of different philodendrons and pothos and monsteras. Most of them either came from tissue cultures or plant sales or cuttings. But those are Anthurium vichii and Paraso verdes. And these are golden pothos that we just made out of the yard. They're almost at the top of their pole. Ooh, that one is. Which will extend that. They're starting to get some size, but still small. But yeah, we've been trying. Unfortunately, bugs were becoming an issue, so we've been trying to treat it every week, every other week with 7. And then here's a bunch more tissue cultures sizing up or cuttings we've taken. But yeah, that's where this house is at right now. It'll be exciting, and some of this will get moved into the shade house, and on the other side of the house where the boat is, still need to get rid of that, and we're going to build another shade house. So lots more work coming up too. And it's not as lush as last year. Last year before the hurricane, and then the tropical storm this year. It's still looking really good, but it could be better. But again, the house is fine, we're fine. A lot of people are not, so we're thankful. It'll all grow. And we'll go take a quick peek at the front. There's 4 bamboos and then some other stuff up there. Plus I can show you what we just picked up. My mom gave us a membership to Sunken Gardens, a family membership for Christmas, and that is part of the American Botanical Garden Society. And with that membership, you get reciprocity to like a few hundred botanical gardens. So if you ever actually do want to travel and see a bunch of botanical gardens, one membership can get you into a lot of them for free. So amazing deal. But we went down to the Edison Ford home with the oldest last week, and they have a kind of botanical gardens area to it, plus a plant nursery. And we got this tree fern here, which we've wanted one and are very excited. It's still small, so it'll take time for it to get big enough, but that's very exciting. Hopefully it thrives here, but never had one of those, so we'll see. We got these nice Dieffenbachias. There's camouflage and another one. Forget what it's called. And then we've got that nice croton over there too. Never seen one that looked like that, so that was exciting. This is Bambusa striata, or something with a D, then striata, and it has been in the ground since May of last year, so maybe 14-16 months, I think. And talking about vigorous, this one has been amazing. Very tight clumping, very upright, very pretty. But it has thrown up 20 new culms this year. And here, I'll show you what it looks like from back here. It just makes a pretty tower. Very tight, thick, lush. Not a ton of spread. Now it's throwing some longer branches. But I really like this one if you're gonna have like a screener. Again, we'll see what it sizes up next year because it's still a baby, but out of the bamboos I got, it's definitely in the top 5 as far as pretty and vigorous, so that's exciting. On the front bed we've got a bunch of cordylines, monstera, the Alexandra palms we moved, burl marks growing up those, large elephant ears and helicanas, and now all the grass is starting to die in the paths, which will be nice once we can just mulch it and not have to mow. Then our angel mist, which also has done amazing this year. Yeah, I mean, it's thrown 20 new culms, mixed sizes, but as it matures we can clean out the smaller ones and really have it looking beautiful. But again, this has been great this year, very excited about that. This is the Giga whatever black one. Pretty much has 2 common ones, the Laco and then this one. All these out front got really hurt from the hurricane, but It's got 3 smaller culms coming up now, and it's thrown maybe 4 or 5 this year. Starting to look better. Again, pretty much everything's just underplanted with cordylines and gingers and stuff like that, bromeliads. We'll get more philodendrons coming. I'd like to figure out a way to use sigoniums more, whether on trellises or whatnot, because they're cheap, vigorous, and really pretty, and because we've had such bad luck with elephant ears. If it's something that'll thrive, that would be exciting. Got a couple of crotons on either side of this walkway. Back there is the boat, and out front here we have like 12 foot of yard still, which I want to get the other side done first, but eventually they'll both be garden beds and there will be no more yard, just jungle. And then this is the Giga whatever Robusta. It's supposed to grow into a very large bamboo. Both this one and the black one were really hurt from, that's what it is, the hurricane last year. It snapped all the new culms they had coming off, sapped a ton of energy out of it. This year it's finally really bouncing back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 good sized culms, and then a couple of smaller ones came out this year. So it'll be exciting as this front wall really comes up and gets some shade, and we can get more shade loving plants in here and just keep making it more dense and trying to add more layers of height as well, whether it is with potted plants or trellises or just getting it denser as well. Cordylines, more Zabrina, bananas. Yeah, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clumps of them, and it was all started off of one $10 starter plug bought online. So, and that was 3.5 years ago. So if you take care of them and propagate, they give you many more plants. This cordyline is amazing. It's been in the ground off a little 3-gallon pot. Same, about a year and a half, and it is taller than me and 4.5 feet wide. So doing great. And then this whole front wall, pelicanas, a couple of white birds of paradise, but they're tiny. And then just little things planted around, which the back has 2 years on the front, so, and this is growing quicker than that did, so we're excited. And then where that car is, this whole side here, we'll landscape, maybe put kind of a wooden, not a pergola, but something over this little strip of driveway here, and it'll be like, once you go through, you'll be going into the jungle. But that's the front wall and the front so far. You can see all the bamboos in the back. That's really it for this month. Didn't do too much, not too much exciting. These videos are as much for us as we can see growth and what does what when and how to help it. But yeah, thank you for watching. Hopefully next month will be more exciting. We'll have some more cool stuff. But thank you. Be well. Take care. Bye.